Chapter 1, the social work profession. Learning outcomes. By the end of this module, you should be able to 1. Describe the social work profession, 2. Explain the context and work environment of social workers, 3. Discuss the professional curriculum of social work and the career opportunities available to social workers, 4. Explain how the social work profession is legally regulated through licensure and credentialing. 4. Describe the major social work professional organizations. And 6. Compare and contrast the roles and responsibilities of social workers and those of professionals with whom social workers frequent. Chapter 1 is based on a story about Susan Dunn. Susan Dunn calls in to the domestic violence hotline seeking help, and the social worker in the case, her name is Pamela. The highlights of the chapter, case vignette, is 1. Susan needs a safe place to stay due to domestic violence. 2. The social worker, Pamela, uses the intervention process to assess the client's needs. 3. The social worker, Pamela, offers shelter to the client as an intervention. 4. The services that are provided, they are provided regardless to Susan's socioeconomic status. And the last thing is that the social worker, Pamela, fosters self-determination. Self-determination is when a social worker allows a client to make a decision or an informed decision for themselves based on the facts presented to them. As social workers, we are not allowed to make decisions for our clients unless there are specific things in place legally, meaning clients is a danger to themselves or the client may be a danger to others. At that point, we have to seek supervision and legal consult in order to override any self-determination practices involved in a case. The Susan Dunn case social worker, Pamela, uses some of the 10 core competencies that were discussed in the 10 core competencies PowerPoint. Part of your assignment for this chapter would be to read the chapter as well as look over the 10 core competencies and see if you can identify the competencies that Pamela used in order to help Susan Dunn. The 10 core competencies that were used in this case are ethics and professional behavior, meaning that Pamela attended to her ethical and professional behavior when working with Susan. Pamela provided diversity and difference when working with her. Pamela advocated for human rights. Pamela, the social worker, relied on research to guide her understanding and knowledge of domestic violence. Pamela used policy to motivate her practice with Susan. And Pamela used the intervention process, which consisted of engagement, assessment, intervention, and evaluation. What I would like for you to do is now to stop this presentation, look at your 10 core competencies that's discussed here, look at the case and highlight each of these core competencies that the social worker used and be able to discuss or give an example of how the social workers used these professional competencies to assist their client. Defining and differentiating social work from other professions. The mission of social work is to help individual people, families, groups, organizations, and communities to prevent or resolve problems in social and psychological functioning, meet basic human needs, achieve life-enhancing goals, and create a just society. The ultimate goal of social work is social justice. The dual focus on social environment and psychological functioning separates us from other professions such as psychologists, sociologists, and anthropologists. When comparing social work to related professions like psychology, counseling, psychiatry, human services, and interprofessional collaboration, what separates us from them is that we have a dual focus. Our dual focus is on social environment and psychological functioning. Social work is a profession that is based on values and ethics. Our ethics are endorsed by the National Association of Social Workers, which is our professional advocacy group. Our values are based on 6 standards: service, social justice, dignity and worth of all persons, importance of human relationships, integrity, and the 10 core competencies. In this module, you will also be given a copy of the NASW Code of Ethics for further review. The 6 ethical standards of social work is what guides us as social workers. We must remember that our clients, it is our Code of Ethics, 6 ethical standards. Number 1, the social worker's primary responsibility is to their clients. Number 2, the nature of relationships between ourselves and our colleagues should be of a positive, ongoing learning nature. 3, responsibilities within the social work practice settings must always put our clients first and must be based on the ethical standards and practice of social workers. We must clarify our responsibilities as social workers and professionals. And finally, we must use the Code of Ethics to cite our responsibilities not only to our profession, but to our clients. The primary goal of social work is social justice. In advocating for social justice, we advocate for human rights. We advocate and We give a commitment to people society doesn't necessarily value. We demonstrate caring and curing and the changing of societal rules in order to benefit those who have been marginalized and left out. A brief history of social work profession includes the charity organization, which was started by Mary Richmond, the Settlement House, which was started by Jane Addams and Hull House. This is actually here on the University of Illinois Chicago campus. The Child Welfare Movement, which was started by the Children's Aid and Society. The New York School of Philanthropy. Please read the chapter and gain a more in-depth understanding of how these organizations propelled social work to become one of the greatest helping professions in our nation's history. The BSW stands for the Bachelor Level Social Worker. This is the individual who completes 4 years of basic social work content. This is the first entry into the profession. You can complete this in a full-time or on a part-time basis. The program must be accredited by the CSWE, that is the Council of Social Work Education, in order to sit for the BSW basic licensure. When you complete this program, you will become or be considered a generalist social worker. A generalist social worker is one who provides service to people in a broad range of circumstances. The advanced practice social worker has an MSW, the Master of Social Work degree. You can generally complete this full-time in 2 years or part-times in 3 to 4 years. There are also programs that will allow you to complete it as an advanced standing, in which you can complete it within 1 year. Those are individuals who complete the BSW program. They have a 3.0 or better GPA, and they are awarded what we call advanced standing into the master's program. Therefore, they can complete it in little as a year. You are now considered an advanced generalist practice social worker. You can specialize in social work, meaning you can decide to work with children, families, the aging, substance abuse, domestic violence. You do more of a specialty. This is the entry level to getting a doctorate degree if that's what you decide you want to do. You can also teach at the university level with your master's degree in social work. You engage in research, and you can be employed in an administrative position with the master's degree in social work. Context and social work environment. Social workers can work in various environments. We can work in Department of Children and Family Services, better known as DCFS. We can work in hospitals. We can work in nursing homes. We can work in home health agencies, meaning going in people's homes, providing social work care. We can work in child daycare settings as a family specialist. We can work in substance abuse agencies, inpatient, outpatient, detox. There are a lot of places that social workers work. The ultimate goal, again, of social work is create social justice in all of these settings. The employment projections for social work are tremendously good. By the year 2029, we are expecting a 6.7% increase in social work jobs in the Cook County area alone. That means that social work will be greatly needed in the next 5 to 6 years. Also, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, I believe these numbers will increase even more due to the economical and healthcare fallout from COVID-19. Can you think of other reasons why social workers will be needed even more by the time we get to year 2029? Think about it. In order to be considered a licensed social worker or a licensed clinical social worker, for the licensed social worker, you have to finish a 4-year degree, which is your BSW, and then you sit for the LSW exam. In order to be considered a licensed clinical social worker, you will finish the 2-year master's degree program. You will complete 3,000 work experience and internship program, and then you will sit for the LCSW licensure program. It is highly recommended that if you are going into social work, that you obtain both your LSW and LCSW to be more marketable and competitive in the workplace. Listed below are a few more certifications that you can obtain after receiving your Master's of Social Work degree. You can become an Academy of Certified Social Workers, a diplomatic of clinical social work, a military specialist, agency-based qualified clinical social worker. You can get a certification as a gerontology social worker that's working with the aging population. Check the National Association of Social Workers website, and there is a complete list of specialized certifications that one can obtain when they complete both the BSW and MSW programs. The National Association of Social Workers is a advocacy, policy-making advocacy group that all social workers are encouraged to become a part of. The NASW lobbies for social workers and the families they serve. They lobby in Springfield, they lobby in Washington, D.C. for the fair and equal treatment of all peoples, regardless to race, color, or psychosocial functioning. The 4 major areas the NASW specializes in is professional development, meaning they come up with the professional development curriculums that we as social workers get continuing educational hours in. Professional action, meaning the advocacy arm of the NASW. Professional standards, the code of ethics, and membership services. Please check the NASW website for more information on the National Association of Social Workers. The primary responsibility of the Council of Social Work Education is to encourage faculty development, advocate on behalf of social work education, and engage in global social work education collaboratives. Accreditation-wise, the function of the Council on Social Work Education is to provide and sustain high-quality national standards of social work education. They are responsible for accrediting the social work educational programs. Only BSW and MSW programs are accredited under the Council of Social Work Education. And they are employed to encourage faculty development, advocate on behalf of social work education, and engage in global social work educational collaboratives. There are several social work organizational programs available for you to join. We have the National Association of Social Workers, the Council on Social Work Education, the National Association of Black Social Workers, the National Association of Puerto Rican and Hispanic Social Workers, the National Indian Social Workers Association, the National Association of Oncology Social Workers, the National Federation of Societies of Clinical Social Workers, the North American Association of Christians in Social Work, and the International Federation of Social Workers. Kennedy King College is a member of the National Association of Black Social Workers, as well as the National Association of Social Workers. All programs have student level memberships as well as professional level memberships.